All right. So ladies and gentlemen, now it's time and we're going to go ahead and get started with our presentation. This is AssureForLife. Again, my name is Minister Terrence Courts. I also go by Terry. So I want to thank everybody for being here. And Assure says that always with you is AssureForLife. We want to protect the people that you love. Okay, so this is our agenda or the schedule, just so that we can make sure that everybody knows what we're going to do. The first thing is just we want to welcome you to AssureForLife. After that, we want to just tell you what is AssureForLife. What is this all about? Why they invited you to this call. The next thing we're going to talk about is a brief overview of our company. You're going to receive the information about the compensation plan if you decide that you'd like to learn more information about a business opportunity. And let me make it clear is that this is definitely more than just a business opportunity, because you don't have to do business with us, but we would like your business, which means you can be a customer without even entertaining the business side of this opportunity. So we're going to talk about the compensation. And then lastly, we will have a question and answer period with some testimonies. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, a lot of people know me that's on this call. I'm not a hype guy. So this is not one of those hype calls. So I'm sorry if that's what you think it is going to be. This is really going to be an informational Zoom so that you can get the information about AssureForLife. We're not going to pressure sell. You know, we're not going to do anything other than just disseminate information that we believe that our community really needs in a time of need that we are in right now. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, what is the opportunity? This opportunity is recession proof. It is a full-time or part-time opportunity for those that may need extra income. You can earn while you learn. There's no license needed. So this is not insurance. So you don't have to be a licensed insurance agent. There's no chargebacks. However, my insurance buddies that are on the phone call with us tonight, they love the keywords no chargebacks. You can get paid twice a month, which means that the 1st through the 15th is our first pay cycle. And then the 15th through the 30th of the month is our second cycle. This is an optional team building opportunity, which means you don't have to build a team. It's not required. You can also receive residual income for life. Our product requires no medical exams. There's no immigration statuses. There's no territory limitations. There's no cancellation fees, and there's no long-term contracts. So ladies and gentlemen, I love when I can say no, 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 and no as well. Because most of the time you can't say no to most of these things that I just discussed. Okay, so now who should we like to talk about with this opportunity with? Okay, we have individuals, there's churches. This afternoon, I had a meeting with some bishops and pastors and a few funeral home owners. It was an amazing private Zoom. So you can talk to church leaders and bishops, pastors, rabbis, insurance agents, people that may sell pre-need plans in the past, people that like in-home business opportunities, people that are sales reps of other professions or companies, funeral home owners or funeral home directors, people that may have families that are incarcerated, or people that can't be covered by traditional insurance policies. That's who the person that we want to target and share this information with. So who's responsible? Is it you? Is it me? Is it them? The question is, who's responsible? Is the church responsible? Is the family responsible? Is the funeral home responsible? The reason why I'm asking who is responsible is because most of the time, when a person does not have any insurance or any type of coverage, it falls on the church, the family, or the funeral home to try to determine who's going to take care of the situation, the expenses, and I hate to say this, the burden that it becomes. Okay, my pastor always says that you cry loud and spare not. So that conversation is just, I'm being honest. Some of the young folks might say, we're just keeping it real. So our company, AssureForLife, has been around over 70 years with a proven track record and a comprehensive service that a lot of people love and understand that we have a human touch. It's just that touch, right? 2,500 organizations are associated with us throughout the United States, Latin America, and the Caribbean islands. We've done over 10,000 funerals, over the last year. And we've done over 250,000 funerals since 1950. So ladies and gentlemen, we are a 70-year-old company. Our headquarters is in Colombia, Mexico, which was established in 1950. Then they have a headquarters in Venezuela, Costa Rica, Mexico. They came to North America in 2007. We have offices in Florida, Panama in 2009, Brazil was 2014. We are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and we are partnered with the National Funeral Directors Association, which is called the NFDA. We are also partnered with the members of the Latin American Association of Cemeteries and Funeral Services and the REMITS. So what that simply means is that all of our funeral homes in the United States that are a part of the NFDA, they're part of this membership where they can help assist your family in their time of need. Okay, so what is our coverage? Our coverage area extends through the United States, that's also the Virgin Islands, Alaska, the Caribbean islands, and Latin America, okay? So what is our waiting period? Our plans are designed to protect for accidental death, violent death, or suicide after 3 days of business. So once the plan has been written within 3 days, if someone has a violent death, suicide, or accidental death, the plan will kick in immediately. Now, if it's natural death, it's 180 days from the time of enrollment for a waiting period. Now, we do not have a cancellation policy. We don't have you don't have to pay anything. However, if you miss 3 consecutive months, this system will automatically generate an automatic cancellation of the plan. Simply put, if you miss three months of plan payments over a 3-month period, then the cancellation is automatic. That doesn't mean that you cannot get covered again. It just means that they would have to write a new plan because it would not be instated any further. Okay. Now the benefits I'm going to share with you on another side. Please forgive me for any tongue tying that I might have. We've been doing these Zooms all day, the last few days, because we're excited about this, right? So please forgive my tongue. Sometimes it gets a little tired as well. Okay, so we are with AssureForLife. There's 3 types of plans that we offer. We have a plan for those that are in the United States. We have a plan for those that are in Latin America. We also have an international funeral assistance plan for those that are in the Caribbean islands and beyond. Okay, so what is the basic funeral services in the United States? The first thing we do is we collect the deceased within 3 to 4 hours. Then we have the preparation of the deceased. That's including the embalmment and other things that the funeral home may take care of. We cover the casket for the viewing and the burial casket. You also get a basic viewing time, which is typically 4 to 6 hours. You get a book of signature and a reminders. You also receive a death certificate, and the funeral director's expenses are also included. And that means from the hearse to the cemetery. So simply put, they will collect your loved one and they will start the process until we reach the cemetery. Let's make this a little bit cleaner for you and more clearer. So the benefits in the United States, the family protection is for those that live in the United States. However, if someone lives in the United States, but they're from, let's say, Brazil, then they will be able to still be a part of this plan. And at the time of their death, AssureForLife will actually transfer their body back to their home country, to Brazil, and take care of the funeral there. So that's really powerful. So AssureForLife provides the funeral services to the beneficiaries that are covered in your plan. Now, this word beneficiary, typically in insurance, would mean the person that receives the payout at the end. However, with beneficiary in AssureForLife, it's actually the people that are covered in your personal plan. And that's all through the United States and the countries that are covered. The standard funeral service or cremation is also covered. You get a basic funeral home room provided by the funeral home to provide the service. You also receive transfers of the deceased to a local funeral home, cemetery, or crematorium within the United States or abroad. What that simply means is that right now I'm in Georgia, but if I would like to be buried with my mother in Michigan, what will happen is they will actually transfer my body from Georgia to Detroit, Michigan, and then my family would allow the funeral home that they choose in the NFDA to provide the services. In this event that the client wants to be cremated, the funeral home will select a crematorium and the final disposition will be taken care of for you as well. The deceased will be totally the disposition from start to finish. You also will receive a reminder package and a death certificate. Only one. However, you can buy more and they're not very expensive. I think they're like $15 each, but the first one is covered. You also receive a standard casket, depending on the country and the regulations, or a urn for the ashes. Now, here's the thing that we just always get right away is somebody says, well, what is a standard casket? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's just what it is. It's a basic casket, the same as saying a basic car without all the bells and whistles. Doesn't mean you can't get other bells and whistles, but this is a standard car or a standard casket. You also receive for the plan holder, the person that the plan is written for, will receive round-trip airline tickets with the United States or abroad for any person that's in their plan that they want to go to their funeral for. So if they're in their plan, we will pay for the plan holder to be able to be accompanied with the person that is no longer with us and provide a round-trip ticket, okay? So let's talk about who's not covered. This is very small, but you know, these are pre-existing conditions that are not covered by AssureForLife. A person with a brain tumor, unfortunately, we are not able to cover them. A person that is in hospice or in terminal illness states, we're not able to cover them. Remember, one of the requirements is 180 days waiting period. So if a person is over 180 days, they're fine. But if they're in a terminal state or hospice, then unfortunately, we cannot cover them. A person that is on dialysis, unfortunately, we cannot cover them. And the last thing is a person that has cancer at the time of the request for the plan. But now let me make sure that you understand the asterisks, which means if they are cancer-free at the time that the coverage was being written, then they can be covered. Now, that also means is if the cancer returns, we're not going to kick them out the policy or the plan. They're already in the plan. So as long as at the time they are what they call zero detected. So if they have any zero detection and the cancer is cancer-free at that time, they can be written in the plan. Okay. So this is our website, our corporate site, which is AssureForLife.com. Once again, that's AssureForLife.com. And so let's go ahead a little bit further into what is the plan. Now, they call this a family plan, but what I'd like to call it is a friends and family plan. The reason why I say a friends and family is because they don't have to be related to you. That's what makes these plans amazing. Now, you hear me saying plan and not policy because insurances are policies. These are plans or memberships with the NFDA and funeral homes. So what you can see with this plan, it covers funerals for up to 7 people on a single plan. And so we're going to say that this is Mr. Ralph Bowling, and he has 6 other people that he is now covering under his plan. So when Mr. Ralph Bowling pays $75 a month, his 6 other people are pretty much able to get into the limousine with him at no cost. What that simply means is that this doesn't have to be a family member. This could be his wife, his significant other. This could be his neighbor, his children, his cousins, or people that he is just a friend. So any 6 people will be covered underneath Ralph's plan. Now, here's the other thing that we have to take in consideration. Our friends and family plan is covered for the age of 18 to 65 for the plan holder. What that simply means is that if you are the plan holder, and we're going to change the verbiage so that you can understand, if you're the policy holder. Now, again, this is a plan, but just for insurance purposes, so you'll understand that if you're the policy holder, you have to be the age of 18 to 65 to be able to have a plan written for you in your behalf. However, the 6 people that are covered under Ralph's plan can be the age of 0 to 81. So their 81st birthday, they will not be able to be added into the plan. However, 0 would mean a baby that is not even here yet. So this is what makes this amazing, amazing, and amazing. Now, one other thing that I want to share with you is you'll see that 45 states, including the Washington, D.C., the United States, and Virgin Islands, are considered, we call these the normal or higher states. So in the higher states, it will be $75 a month. Now, we're going to talk about our lower states. Our lower states is Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, New York, California, and Puerto Rico. Now, in our lower states, it's only $50 a month for a family group or friends and family group. Now, let me make sure that you understand that the coverage is all of those things, everything we just talked about, all of these benefits here is what we call the plan. So each person that's in your plan will get the exact same benefits that you are receiving at the time of your expiration. The only thing that will not transfer is the plane ticket. That's only available for the plan holder, okay? So again, there's only 2 plans, the $75 family and friend plan for the regular states. The lower states is $50 a month for those that are in Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, New York, California, and Puerto Rico. Now, what that simply means, our family plan covers 7 people in the United States, including Latin America and the Caribbean islands. So that means that your family plan can include someone that may be from Jamaica or from somewhere else. Let's say you're here in the United States and your parents, your mom and dad, are in Mexico. Well, they can be in this plan with you, and when at the time that their expiration comes, they will allow AssureForLife will take care of their expenses for the funeral overseas where they are. So again, this is the annual rate, which of the $75 plan is $900 a year. On the $50 plan, which we call the lower states, is $600 a year. Now there's a one-time $20 registration and activation, and so you pay $920 a year or $620 your first year. And however, you can pay 4 different ways. You can pay month to month, which would be the $75 or $50 per month. You can pay semi-annually, which is every 3 months. You can do, quarterly, every 3 months, semi-annually, every 6 months, or you can pay the whole year in advance, which is 12 months in advance. Now, here's the amazing thing. If you choose to pay the whole year in advance, AssureForLife will give you 2 months for free. What that simply means that the $900 plan, you will receive $150 off. On the $600 plan, you'll save $100. So you're now only paying $500 or $750 plus the $20 activation, okay? Now we have another plan, because if you remember, on these family plans, it's the plan holder has to be the age of 18 to 65. So you may ask me, Terry, what happens if I'm 66 or 68? Well, we have a silver plan. For those that are the age of 66 to 75, AssureForLife will still allow you to be covered. Now, it's a little bit different, which means the silver plan will only cover one person the age of 66. Now, however, he can have one other person from the age of 0 to 75 that we can offer a plan with them as well. So that's just 2 people on the silver plan. Now, if they were in the lower states, it will be $420 for a silver person, or $600, which is $50 a month for the silver person with one other person, 0 to 75. Remember, on our family plan, you can have someone 0 to 80 in your plan and up to 7 people. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. The silver plan is just designed for those that are over the age of 66, but they still want to be a plan holder, and they can be in the age of 66 to 75. Now, someone might say, well, what happens after the age of 75? So from 75 on your 76th birthday, you will not be able to be a silver plan holder or a family plan holder. However, you still can be in someone else's plan. You just cannot have, let's change the verbiage. You cannot be a policy holder, okay? Now, let's say what happens to somebody that's 80 that's in the plan, in the family plan. Well, as long as they are in the plan before their 81st birthday, well, then we're covering them until they're 110. God bless them if they can be here that long. Okay. Now, here's one other thing that we can offer. For the regular states, a person can get a single plan for only $25, and that's the person that's 18 to 65, and that's in the regular states. The lower states is $15. If you have two people, it will be $40 for the regular states and $25 for the low states. Now, the moment you get the third person, all the way to 7 will be $75 in our regular states, and low states will be $50 from 3 to 7. And remember, you still will have that $20 one-time activation fee. Okay, so let's shift gears just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you're enjoying what you're hearing so far. So the first part is our consumer side, which means you don't have to do business at all. That's just the policy or the plans that people can sign up to cover their family, to give you peace of mind. But now on the same token, we have some people that are on this call that says, how would you like to earn money over and over and over again for life? The reason why I'm asking you that question is because some insurance agents understand this. Once you write a plan or a policy as an insurance agent, you are able to receive the compensation every year that it's renewed. Now, we're not insurance, so we're going to call it plan again. But every time that the plan renews every year, you're able to make a commission every single month, every year that person has the plan with you. So you write it once, you get it paid over and over and over again. Okay, so this part is for those that see what you've seen, you like what you've heard, and you may say, I want to become a business associate and join Terry, Ralph, Dr. Steve Branch, Nancy, and a lot of the other leaders. You're saying, I want to join them. So this is how Mr. Melvin, a funeral home director, how can I join? Okay, it's very easy. You're able to receive commissions with just one step. Refer a friend, and the friend becomes a customer. So when you write a plan, you receive a commission. So let's talk about the plans. Now, one of the things you can do is you can rank up if you decide you would like to build a team. Now, the team building is not required. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not an MLM. This is not multi-level marketing. This is not network marketing. So please leave those hats at home. Now, you can use the talent and the skills that you've acquired through multi-level marketing. However, this is not that. We're not one of those type of companies. What we do here is we just help people receive policies, receive plans. So if you decide to become a plan writer, you can become one with a beginner, and at beginning you have one sale. When a junior is 6 sales, a senior is 10 sales, a director is 25 sales, and you go all the way up to a regional manager of 402 sales. Now understand one other thing, I said sales, so that's not team members. We're not building 402 team members. We're talking about 402 plans that have been sold. So let's go a little bit deeper. So when you decide if you want to be a sales agent and associate, you can actually become a beginner and you're coded to the person that invited you for life. Now, once you have your 6 sales, you become a junior and you receive a $200 bonus. If you do it in the first month as a senior, which is 10 sales, you receive a $300 bonus, all the way to regional manager. Now, one of the things that's very interesting to understand is, again, this is not multi-level marketing or binary, but if you decide to find people that are like-minded that want to sell our policies, let's say you recruit 2 people, and let's say they have 10 people each. Well, 10 is to become a senior. So if you create or you develop 2 seniors, you become a director. If you do 2 directors and you help to develop them, you become a leader. All the way to 2 divisional managers will equal a regional manager position. So you can actually rank up with your team volume and not just your personal sales. So let's go, real quick. Remember, beginners is 1, 402 is all the way to regional management. So now let's talk about the compensation. For your direct sales, everyone starts at a beginner without any respective person. I understand we have people on here that have 1,000 people in other organizations or thousands of others in other organizations. We all start the same way as a beginner. You start with a 35% override, and by the time you're a director with 25 sales in your team, you will be receiving 55%. Now understand, that commission is paid the 1st and the 15th. All those sales is considered one pay cycle. So how much does that cost, Terry? Or what does that equate to, Terry? I'm glad you asked. The lower states is $620 that you'll be paid on, because you're getting paid for in advance the annual percentage of the sale that you wrote, right? So it's 620 in the lower states, 920 in the higher states. So a beginner will receive 35%, which is $217 in the lower states, $315 in the higher states. When you become a director, you're receiving $341 all the way to $500 in the higher states. It doesn't stop there. The leaders is 60%, manager is 65%, division manager is 70%, all the way to 80% for every direct sale that you do as a regional manager, okay? So what does that look like? When you become a regional manager, you'll receive in the lower states, $496, in the higher states, $736. So that's almost $750 for each sale that you make when you are a direct sale, when you reach each one of these ranks, which is very doable, okay? There's other compensations that are included, which means you are able to get an override of your team. You get direct overrides. You also receive residual overrides for the next year, which means if you have a team, the 13th month when the new contract is signed, then guess what? You're able to receive residual from your direct team, and you can also receive residual from your team once you reach the director level. Now, I'm going to give you this disclaimer that success is only made by each person's own individual efforts. So I'm not making any promises or guarantees, but I will say that a regional manager can receive a minimum of $241,000 a year at that level, okay? So you may say, Terry, how can I become an agent? Every person can become an agent at no cost. That simply means you do not have to pay to be an agent. You don't pay for the marketing material. You don't pay for websites. You don't have to pay any of that, but you do have to pay for a plan for yourself or your family, which simply means if you're in the lower states, you have to pay for a $50 plan. In the higher states, you have to sign up for a $75 plan, and you'll be paying for the $20 registration fee. All plans must be paid 3 months in advance or better. So to be an agent, you must at least pay the 3 months or 75 months, which simply means $150 or $225 to start today, plus the $20 activation fee, which will be $170 or $245. So you only have to have 2 minimum sales per month to stay active as an active a sales associate. If you do not have any sales within a 3-month period, you will lose your entire organization and you will become a coded beginner. So you go all the way back to the beginner of levels, right? So here's the reality. You don't want to go all the way back if you're a regional manager, to a beginner, right? So we just understand that's what you have to do to become an agent, is just have one of the plans, okay? Here's an example of some of our funeral homes that are in South Florida. They are amazing. They're upscaled. There are a lot of glass, a lot of marble, because they want to change the ambiance. So it's no longer feeling like it's a sad occasion. This is a celebration, okay? So thank you so much for your attending this Zoom. I'm going to answer some questions now, but right before I give you the opportunity to ask your questions, I want to give this information and leave this up for just a minute for you. So the corporate website is AssureForLife. That's AssureForLife.com. We also have a sizzle video which is about 2 minutes long, and that's for the product only. And if you look at the spelling, it's Assure, the number 4, not F-O-R-E. So AssureForLife.com is for the product sizzle. Now the business overview sizzle is about 5 to 6 minutes long, and it gives them just a high level overview, and that's Assure, the number 4, life.biz, that's .biz. Now here's the customer service line for agents. It's a 1-800 number. And then they also have a email for our agents. So please do a quick screenshot. Contracts@AssureForLife.com is for our agents and associates. And then for the corporate email for consumer questions is info@AssureForLife.com. The last number that I'm gonna share with you is the emergency notification line. This number is only used for families that are in need of immediate service. That means this is the notification of death. When you call this number, Assure4Life will start immediately to collect the information, to send someone to collect the remains of the loved one that has expired, and then the plan takes effect. They start with everything that they need to do that we've already been waiting to do in a time of need to take the stress away and make the convenience of the family that is mourning, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, that is our Zoom. So what we're gonna do here, please stick around. Again, if you remember what I said in the beginning, I don't like any type of hype. I'm not gonna try to just, this is the best thing in the world, you gotta join today. That's not what we're trying to do. But I do wanna make sure you get enough information to have an informed decision. Now, the next thing I'd like to do before we do a Q&A, so please stick around because information is powerful, is I'd like to bring Mr. Melvin in. He is a funeral home owner. He joined today or last night, and he's on fire. I'd like to really just have him say a few words. And then after that, I'd like for Nancy, Miss Nancy, I would like for you to also do a really quick testimony about GoFundMe and the experience that you had. Okay, so we're gonna start with Mr. Melvin. I think he's the expert in this field, so I'd like for him to be able to speak. Mr. Melvin, I'm gonna unmute the lines. Everyone, I'm actually gonna unmute the lines, but I ask that you please stay muted unless you're gonna be speaking and we ask you to speak. So that we can have a clean call and a clean recording. So Mr. Melvin, we're ready for you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Great. Good evening, everyone. And I want to say to you that this is the most awesome opportunity I've ever seen in my entire life. I know you probably heard that before, but I just retired out of the funeral home business we've been in business about 40 years. And we also own a chain of restaurants here in Richmond, Virginia. And the whole time that we were involved in the funeral business, I see a friend of mine, Chester Henderson in North Carolina. He's in the business still now, so he knows what we dealt with or what we have to deal with on a daily basis regarding the deceased loved ones. But the whole time we've been in business, we've never seen a plan that could cover all sorts of what could happen to you when you lose a loved one. And the biggest problem that we have in the business is we want to make sure, number one, that the funds are in place, that you get the services that you want for your loved one. And in this time during the COVID season, we've had a tremendous amount of loved ones that passed away unexpectedly. So a program like this, had we known about it earlier, would have assisted a lot of families, would have helped us a lot to help people that were unable to really help themselves. And also, it's an income producing product. I like the fact that even though I'm out of the physical part of the funeral home business, I'm in the financial part. I like this a lot better than I did the other part. But the good thing about it is that it answers both problems. It serves the community because, a lot of folks are losing their coverages now, or they may have a policy that may not be 2 years old. And we as funeral home directors want to make sure, number one, we can cover the services that you want and make sure we actually can get paid for it. So that's been the biggest issue because it's a business and we have to care about the family and we're sure the family will care about their loved ones to make sure they're properly taken care of. But with this plan, it solves both problems because we're in a business and we have to take care of your loved one. We want to make sure, number one, the funding is there. you get the services that you want, and then we actually pay for the service that we provide. And it takes the pressure off of families. So a lot of folks having to do cremations, not because they want to, it's because that's probably the only service they can afford to do something. And I've come across a lot of families that at one point could afford to bury a loved one, either have insurance or funds saved up, but times have changed now. We've dealt with situations that we try to help the family with, but this company has answered the problem with both sides, with the funeral home themselves, providing the service, and with your loved ones, family loved ones who at some point they could not afford cremation or to have burials. But this solves the problem. So when Ralph called me, and I told Ralph not to call me no more. I guess I told him about 5 times. Don't call me about nothing. I'm retired now. I'm in the restaurant business and I'm retired from the funeral business. I don't want to do nothing. He said, Crawley, give me 5 minutes. Folks, one thing about opportunity, you don't know what you don't know. And had I turned Ralph off, now I haven't slept in the day. I mean, I like making money. I like doing what I do. I've signed up 7 people in one night, and not one person, not even one person said to me, hey man, I'm not interested. Because there's a market for this. For folks who've never done it before, for folks who lost a loved one, for funeral homes who don't know this exists, you have a wide open market that guarantees you that you won't waste your time. I mean, we've joined businesses before, we never made any money in it, or supply and demand wasn't there, or things changed. People are always gonna live and they're always gonna die. And we always gonna need a service for them, but we also need to make money while we're doing it. So I strongly suggest that you hang in here, look at where you can benefit with this plan. And I've never seen one like this before. And I doubt there ever will be one existing. And then I check the track record of this company, because when we're in business, you're responsible to know everything about the company that you're dealing with. It is your responsibility to find out whether the company is legitimate, whether or not there have been any complaints. And I check this thing down to the sock, because my reputation is out there and I want to keep it the way it is. So when I looked at the company being in business for 70 years and the fact they got no complaints, now it's almost impossible for a business not to have any complaints. This company has no complaints. It's A-rated to the Better Business Bureau. And I felt real comfortable because the status is where it needs to be. Because when you're representing the company, you also represent yourself. Your reputation is out there. And I can't afford for my reputation to be nothing but impeccable. And that's where I really felt comfortable with this company. And so I don't want to take any more time. I just want to share with you that I'm excited about this thing. And Ralph, you owe me $68, sir, and I'm charging you interest because I'm making that $3,000 bonus. I like money. God bless you. God bless you.
All right, what I'd like to do now, Miss Nancy, ladies and gentlemen, please just give me about 5 more minutes. Do not leave. There's a blessing in the pressing. A lot of times people say, oh, here goes that hype. It's time for me to jump off. I have an announcement that I'm going to give you in about 5 minutes that's going to knock your socks off. So please just give me 5 more minutes. Miss Nancy, your testimony followed by Bishop Milton Woods. And then we're gonna also bring in Dr. Steve Branch. So that's the last 3 people that will speak. So Nancy, please, your testimony is amazing, please.
Well, thank you, Terrence. You know, unfortunately, I had a friend that was in his 50s, and of course, he did pass unexpectedly, and really the family didn't want to have anything to do with helping him. So what was left? You know, let him just be taken by the government and gone nowhere. So I decided to do a GoFundMe, and when I did, I had no idea what the costs were for that. So we started looking into it, and I couldn't believe it. They charge you to take the body just to the funeral home. They charge you to take it from the funeral home to the crematory and then back. They charge you if you can't call them right away. And that's what's so great about this 24-hour phone number. You don't really realize it, is that they charge storage like rent every single day. It took us 2 weeks to even to find him where they had sent him, because the hospital has a contract with a specific person, but they don't want to tell you. So long story short, the bill was getting into the $12,000 to $15,000 range. Now, We told them this was a charity. We did a GoFundMe. I raised $4,500. Luckily, they lowered the cost, waived the $1,500 in storage, waived the transportation because he was a well-known singer here. I cannot tell you how hard it was to beg people to give $25 or $50 or $100 just to help someone that they maybe even owed money to or owed a favor to. It was heart-wrenching, but praise God, we did able to take care of him. But if he had had this plan, it would have been a whole lot easier. And I'm telling you, that was the very beginning of COVID. He did not die from COVID. He died from heart issues. But now there's been so many GoFundMes. Every other day, someone that we know or somebody that they know. And so really, this is really so very, very needed. Thank you, Terrence, and back to you.
Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why I really wanted to highlight Nancy, because you got to understand that until you go through something like this, you do not understand it. I'm gonna give you two quick. It's heartbreaking.
And heartbreaking.
Yeah, you got to understand a few things. If a person doesn't have any coverage, who's going to do it? You have brothers and sisters that are fighting with each other. They're not speaking anymore because they couldn't pay for the money for their mom to be buried or something. Right, I'm going to tell you the truth. I like to be honest. My father didn't talk to his brother for over 40 years over this same situation. So this is a family issue that is an epidemic now, because the person that is most vulnerable right now is 18 to 45. All you gotta do is go to the CDC statistics. They have the life statistics, and they're saying that the largest group of population of people that are dying right now is 18 to 45. So we gotta understand that. The other problem that we have that we're going to with the GoFundMe or selling dinners, it's happening. So what I like to do is bring in Bishop Milton Woods out of Ypsilanti, Michigan, because he's one of my bishops. I've talked to him, and when I called him about this plan, he said, "Brother," he said, "Minister, you telling something that I need to say." Come on, Bishop Woods.
God bless you, Minister Terrence, and God bless everyone under the sound of my voice. I just want to briefly say that I'm an ex-insurance agent, number one. I've been pastoring for 32 years. I've been a bishop for 21 years. And I've seen some sad, tragic situations to where I had to go into my personal pocket, as sometimes into the church account, to help people that did not have insurance. I was listening to Nancy, some of the things she was talking about that you don't know about if you're not an agent or familiar with it, some of the things that they were shocking to her. But I knew about all of those things. And I like to say that I paid so much money helping church members as well as family members until about, I don't know, maybe about 4 years ago, right before COVID. I had to do a family member funeral. And shortly after that, I had to do a church member funeral, and I helped with both of them. And at both of the funerals, I started off by saying, I am not giving a nickel towards anyone else's funeral. You need some coverage. I've been telling you all this for years, and people are dying. And the first thing you do is turn to the church, or to me, or shamelessly, you have to beg for money to get it done when you can pay $75 a month, which is so minute, so it won't be a burden, so it can be a rejoicing, or as Terry said, your pain is minimal, and you can really concentrate on the good times. So great program, again, by me being an ex-insurance agent and deeply involved. I totally get it. And my prayer and my hope is that everyone gets it. So that's it. God bless you, Terry. Great job. Keep the great work up.
Thank you, Bishop Woods. Like I said, it was so, when I called him, he said, Terry, I told my community, if I'm not paying for another funeral. He said,
Yeah.
if you're not taking care of your responsibilities, it's not my fault. And that's what you know, when I heard that, I joined immediately. I signed myself up. I took care of my 2 daughters, my 2 sisters, my sister's husband, and my daughter's mom. That's my plan, because I'm not going to be a burden for somebody, right?
Yeah.
So one last thing is I'm going to bring in Miss Denise Mims. I helped her. Denise doesn't know that I was going to call on her. Denise, can you unmute your line?
Hello there.
Hey, Denise. Denise has a very special story. She's one of my business partners. We've done business together in other companies, but this year she buried her husband, unfortunately, and it's very recent, but I'm going to tell you something. Denise called me the day of the funeral. Please, Denise, tell them your story really quick, just short. I know it's still fresh, but they got to understand that this is real.
Yes, I sold the car that was sitting in the yard, but the check would not clear until a week later. And so I had to ask 2 friends for some funds, which I got it. And the funeral home would not allow anyone into the service. They delayed it. They wouldn't let anybody in. And my husband's family is a 0 participant completely. I didn't ask them for a dime, but the whole situation was like horrendous. They held up this, as a matter of fact, she called me, she says, well, we have to postpone it, the funeral. I said, I have people from out of state already here. What are you talking about? So I got the money in hand. I went into the office. I gave her the money. And mind you, he was going to be cremated, but that was an issue. His body was laid out and ready for viewing. And so once I gave her the money, the doors were opened. And the whole process was just crazy, because my husband refused to get insurance throughout the years. No matter what I did, no matter what I said, he refused to get insurance, like he was going to live the rest of his life. He would not pay for it. And so I was overwhelmed,
Thank you so much, Denise. I love you. I know that this is still a little bit fresh for you, but people have to understand what's going on. She called me the day of the funeral, and they would not proceed without having the money. And so I said, put them on the phone for me. And I said, let me just talk to them for you, right? Because you can understand that this is the spouse, the widow, that is the day of the funeral, that they're not going to do the funeral without the money. This is real. So guys, we got to understand that we have to change the narrative. So Dr. Steve Branch, you're going to end this call with us. But right before we do that, I'd like to field any questions that someone may have. And after that, Dr. Branch, I'd love you just to take us home. Is there any questions? The lines are unmuted. Please unmute yourself, and I'll be more than happy, because I hope that you see something of value. But right before you ask your questions, let me show my screen for one other thing that I think that may excite you. It's not all about the money, right? However, give me 1 second. And let me pull that back up. There we go. Tomorrow, which is Thursday, if you join with us tonight or tomorrow, and you have any sales, you can do 6 sales, which you're going to be paid 35% on. That's $322 times 6, which is so $1,932. Plus, you'll get your rank bonus of $200 and an $800 August bonus, which is a total of $2,932. Now, the reason why you heard Mr. Melvin, who's the funeral home director owner, saying, hey, Terry, I want my $68, is because I made a challenge the last 2 days that anybody that gets their 6 people, I'll pay the $68 so that it can make it around $3,000 check for you, which you'll have within about 4 to 5 days. Again, that'll be $3,000 in 2 days. Now show me where you can find that, and you're helping the family. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the money. It's about being a blessing to others. So again, There, with the bonus, if you do 6 sales, you receive an $800 bonus, and that's by midnight tomorrow. If you do 3 sales by midnight tomorrow night, you receive a $300 bonus on top of that. Or if you do 5 sales by midnight, you'll make a $600 bonus. So that's $300, $600, or $800 on top of the $322. And this is based on the $75 plan. But if you did 6 sales, you know, you're receiving $322 each for each sale as a beginner. And that's just simple math. So I leave that at the end because some people may jump off, and that's the one that made Mr. Melvin not sleep last night. Last night, he signed 7 people up in a single night. He's already, I owe him $68, but I'm looking forward to giving it to him.
Hey, I've been up since 4 a.m. to try to do it too.
Come on, Dr. Branch, take us home. And then if there's any other, I'm sorry, is there any questions? Anybody has a question?
Yes, this is Possible Rail in Houston, Texas. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Just a question. I do just need clarity. The family plan, you get 7 people in there, that covers their expenses for complete funeral expenses for any of those 7 people. And when I
Yes,
say
sir.
complete expenses, that includes the funeral, and of course all the transporting, burial, etc.
Now, we cover everything except for the burial. Now, we do the cremation, but remember, a funeral home does not have any part of the burial. The burial is the cemetery. So look at it like this. It's from the time they pick up the deceased to the hearse drives you to the cemetery. So in insurance terms, the open and closing, the vault, and those type of services, the headstones, that's not part of a funeral. That's a part of the burial or the cemetery. So that's a step. So sometimes people can be confused. They say, well, that's part of the funeral. No, that's part of the cemetery part. They just actually, the funeral home director may sometime outsource that part of the business. Mr. Melvin, please share, just give me highlight that part, please.
Yeah, he's exactly right. When we do the contract, even though the funeral home pays for the burial, but the money comes from the family, because when we do our contract, we have to add in the contract the costs for the burial, which includes the opening and close of the grave. And since the COVID have been out, some things have changed, but the cost still is the family's cost. Even though we pay the funeral home, when we bring those bodies there, they'll be paid prior to us coming to open and close the grave. It's the family's money that we use to pay that. The burial, the funeral service themselves, all the funds for handling the body, the casket, and transportation, it all goes direct to the funeral home. But the amazing part about this, that I had an experience with a ship of body to Honduras, and they had to pay for the airline flight, they had to pay for the funeral service to pick them up in Honduras to bury the body, and they had to pay their own transportation. This is unheard of for this company to be able to pay the flight, the transportation, the body to your homeland, wherever, depending on where you came from, and cover those costs, but they're extremely expensive. But getting back to the question, no, the burial is not a part of the funding that we have through the funeral home. It's a separate funding. Even though we pay it with the client's money, not our own money.
Thank you so much. That's why I like to have an expert on our team. Is there anybody else that has a question? And Apostle, I hope that answers your question.
I have a question on the compensation, one simple one, I hope.
Yes, sir.
If I were to come in and I sell 2 memberships for $50 in the lower states, that would qualify me, correct?
Correct.
And then if that same month I brought on one person, just one, and they sold 10 memberships, they got their own commissions. What percentage of, if anything, would I get on their sales?
It depends on where you are. You have to be at least I believe a senior or above to receive any overrides. If you're not a senior, you won't receive any overrides. But here's the deal, Mr. Rich. here's what I'm going to tell you, is that these plans, if you plug in with us, they're selling themselves because the need is there. And this is an epidemic problem with COVID having so many people passing away, people that have HIV that can't be covered, people that are, I've talked to insurance agents that said now if you're on insulin, that some of these plans aren't going to be covered anymore. If you have high blood pressure, some of these policies are so expensive now that people just do not have coverage. And then if you did have coverage, you lost your job, and now it's going to be too expensive for you to write a new policy. So now you still have another sector of people that just do not have insurance. So, and here's, I don't like long calls, but I'm going to say one other thing. I was looking at an article from the New York Journal, and it said that the insurance companies were thinking that they were going to go bankrupt because of COVID, with over 500,000 deaths at one time. But what they found out was that over 250,000 people did not have insurance. So they actually made more money than they thought they would, and they didn't lose as much money as they thought or anticipated that they were going to lose. So I hope that makes sense. Is there any other questions? And then we're going to close the call with Dr. Steve Branch. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, yes, ma'am, Miss Mary.
With regards to the statement that you made about being the policy holder until age 65, and then you can transition over to the silver plan. Could you please?
If you're in the policy at 65, then you stay there. You don't have to transition. It's just if somebody, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was clear, because you stated that we can be a policy holder through age 65. If you're over 65, then you move to the silver plan. So I just wanted to make sure that very first policy was still available to that policy holder when they reach 65.
Let me clear up a little bit, because I understand where you're almost there. So 18 to 65, you can be considered a plan holder. Now, that means if you're in a plan prior to 66, you don't change over to a new plan. You are a family plan with 7 people. However, if this is a brand new plan and you're 66 years of age, you can't be the plan holder. You can be a policy, you can be inside of a plan, but if you want the plan for yourself and you're 66 to 75, you'll have to be a silver plan. Now, if
Understood. Yes, I got it now. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. One other thing is that I need to announce to everybody is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we do a live certification class on Zoom at 10 a.m. It is required to go through a certification and you take a test. Now, it's just a very simple test, but they want to make sure that you understand the difference between insurance and what we do. So we need as many of you to be on that training tomorrow. So whoever invited you, you can get certified tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and you will be a certified AssureForLife agent. Miss Nancy, your mic is open. Did you have a question or a comment?
No, that I just want to let everybody know in the lower half of the screen, if they haven't answered a question, they can unmute themselves, because I know there are quite a few people that are completely unmuted. Maybe they don't know that. So if anybody needed to, they can unmute themselves. Nick Obregon, I see you have a question.
Yes, I got.
Yes, sir.
On the training, is there another day that they have it besides Thursday mornings?
It's Thursday at 10 a.m. Miss, let's see here. Wilhelmina, are you here? She may be not here. I believe it's 10 a.m. tomorrow and 6 p.m. tomorrow. Right now, it's only one day a week. However, if you're unable to go to the 10 a.m. or the 6 p.m., we can accommodate you. We'll make sure that you can get certified. We might be able to have a video that's sent to you of the training, but that's by a special situation only. And that's Eastern Standard Time. Everything we do is Eastern Standard Time. So if you need a special circumstance, we can accommodate. Now, I do see some questions in the chat, so let me answer those. Can you review the yes, sir.
Just one more quick one. I signed up today
Yes, sir.
And when we signed up, I put in the 6 people in my family plan. So a total of 7. But then it came out and said, you've entered 7 of 8.
Okay.
Can we
So
have
what that
8?
simply means is it's only a 7 plan. And actually we did that today with one of our agents, Maya Bowling. She wanted one other person. So she was able to do 8 of 8. So it's only going to be 7 people, but they make the affordability to have one more person for $25 more or $15 more. So you can do an 8th person for just $25 or $15 more. So in Maya's situation, she had a child that was not covered, or we just needed one more spot. So it's 6 people plus you. But now they leave one more spot just in case you want to have one more person that the family's a little bit bigger. All right. Let's see. Let me answer the questions that are inside of the chat really quick. One of the question was the 4, can you review the restrictive 4 conditions? Yes, bottom line, if you have a brain tumor, if you you're on dialysis, if you are in hospice, or a terminal illness where you are, you're at any time you're going to lose. I mean, pretty much if you're at terminal illness, you're in hospice as well at that point. And then the last one is cancer, where if a person has cancer, they cannot be written into a plan. If they are cancer-free, meaning even though they may have cancer, if they're cancer-free at the time of the policy, the plan, you can be covered. The certification class, I will, if Miss Mary, whoever invited you, I'm gonna make sure that we have a funnel of information so that everyone can be on that class. And while we're doing this, let me see if I can find somebody to bring the certification class over to us. While I'll make a quick phone call so that I can get that link. That would be helpful. And then one other thing is, let me read the rest of these questions. How do you choose the funeral home? I didn't really go over that much, but it's with anybody that's a part of the NFDA, which is the National Funeral Directors Association. So that's a huge list. So let me show you what that looks like. And again, we're over time, but if you're still here, I don't mind being here as long as you need me, but I don't want to make people think that this is a long thing, right? So you just go to NFDA, which is the National Funeral Directors Association. You go to For Families. When you click on For Families, you see Find a Funeral Home. You click this. These are members of the NFDA. And these will be the people that will be participating in our program. Miss Mary, what is your zip code?
48034.
Oh, you're in Michigan.
Yes.
48304?
No, 48034.
What area is that?
Southfield.
Southfield. I was going to say that I have a house in Farmington Hills, and I'm from Detroit. I graduated from Southwestern High School in Southwest Detroit. But here's the funeral homes that is in the area that is in the NFDA that is covered by you. So you just pick one of them out. It's typically the one that's closest to you. However, you can ask for them to use one of these that are in our coverage.
Okay, that wasn't my question. My question was the link to the certification.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
That's okay.
So whoever asked that question of how do you find the funeral homes, that's how you find the funeral homes. All righty, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I don't like to be here too long, but if there's any other questions, I'll answer them. Are we clear? Does anybody else have a question that I missed?
Just one question, please.
Yes, sir.
For lack of a better expression, if the plan holder dies and you have 6 other people on your plan, that plan goes away, correct?
No. No.
It transfers to someone else?
Yes, sir. As long as you keep paying, you keep on playing. And here's the thing that I really like. That's somebody that's in the plan that's not a plan holder that passes away. You can replace that person. It's amazing. Now, the certification goes over, and guys, this is so much information. The certification is about 2 hours to 2.5 hours. And every answer, I'm sorry, Nancy, is it comprehensive for you?
Say again?
The certification, was it comprehensive?
Yes, it is very, very detailed, and it fills in all the little holes that you might be thinking about. I took a lot of notes. It was tremendously well thought out. Rocco does a great job. He's very easy to understand, and I know he opens it up on the live one for questions afterwards. But you know, it's kind of like the thing, once you hear it once, you're going to remember it for the most part. It's not complicated. It's simple. You just need to learn a couple more things than what you saw in this presentation. So it was very, very helpful. I loved it.
Thank you so much. Dr. Branch, please go ahead and take us home. And while you're doing that, I'm going to try to get the certification link for tomorrow right now.
Well, I'll be extremely brief. And once again, thank you. You did a tremendous job hosting this webinar once again. As Minister Court said, my name is Dr. Steve Branch, out of Richmond, Virginia as well. Self-employed over 35 years. Actually, I myself as well as Mr. Melvin Crawley, we go way back. We both were licensed insurance agents and also had annuities license back in the mid 80s. So understand the value of having insurance and coverage. Over the years, I ran across a lot of individuals that didn't have insurance and coverage. And I've donated, like the bishop, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to families that were short or would come to me because I've been blessed to be extremely successful in business and networking as well as traditional business. And when this plan came across me about 4 or 5 days ago, initially I wasn't interested in getting involved in the funeral industry, but then I listened to a short presentation when normally it was only about 15, 20 minutes, caught my attention. Then they went to the comp plan. I said, wait a minute, offer every plan, just at the beginning levels, a $322 commission. You mean I could sit home at my desk, 2 or 3 referral plans and make $1,000 a day? Sign me up with a huge contact base. And one of the things that's an added feature to that is anyone that's a member of your plan, whether it's all 6 members or 4 or 5 members, see, an agent is free. Any one of the members that's on your particular plan, you can upgrade to an agent. Now they have the capability to refer anyone that they know and make $322 per sale at the beginning level. So the compensation plan is simply tremendous. Those of us that are pastors and ministers, churches, business owners that have employees, you actually can include a couple of them on your plan and upgrade them to an agent for free, and that becomes your sales force. And that also blesses them. During the pandemic, over the last 18 to 24 months, individuals really became astute to doing business from home with their laptop. We call it a laptop lifestyle. And this falls right directly into that arena. And it can be a blessing to a lot of individuals that need support outside of a stimulus check from the government. This can be a new form of stimulus, both financially in their pocketbook, as well as protecting their families. With that being said, I'll pass it back over to you, Terrence Courts, and let's take us home. Let's have a blessed evening and let us know the times for tomorrow's webinar.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do another webinar tomorrow night at 9 p.m. If you can hang tight, I just called the instructor for the certification for tomorrow. If you just give me 30 seconds, he's sending it to me and I will put it up so that you'll know. The certification class, there is no cost. We do it for free. Everything we're doing is just trying to make sure that we have a way that we can be a blessing to our community, our family, and our friends. And again, I'm waiting on the link. So please just stand by and you'll be able to join our certification tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Guys, it's every week, but if you come tomorrow morning, you'll be able to rock and roll and still by the end of the day, hopefully get your $3,000 bonus, which is amazing for 1 day's worth of work. Again, I'm just waiting on the link. Stand by and I'll put it in the chat.
Hey, while you are waiting on that, would you just take a moment to elaborate about those owners who own property that they operate out of. Once they get to a certain level here, they'll get that $3,000 a month, and also talk about the advertising material, just so that they'll have an idea.
Oh, sure, sure, Ralph. Yeah, I mean, to be a I'm sorry, Ralph, I can't think and talk and do everything at the same time. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get that link in here because it is late. So ladies and gentlemen, if you become a regional manager, we will give you a $3,000 bonus every month to be able to cover the cost of a physical office for you. So you can have your own AssureForLife branded office that we cover, the rent and everything for just doing what you do, which is being an amazing top leader. So ladies and gentlemen, I just got the information. I'm emailing it to myself. And as soon as I do that, I will post it inside of the Zoom. So please hold 1 second. There we go. All right, so I'm going to open up my screen and get that for you. Is there anybody else that had a question while I'm getting that for you? You can still ask.
And the advertising information that we have available.
All the advertising information is free of cost. They give you brochures, flyers, everything. You just put your name and information on it. We also have a members website that's going to be, it's already in beta test, which you'll have your own private website to share with people. Now, I'm going to show the AssureForLife website, by the way, which is a very nice website. But, you know, if someone says that, you know, they want, let's say they want to join, they can't join from AssureForLife. So you don't have to worry about AssureForLife taking your lead. It would tell them pretty much, you know, who referred you. So they're not going to, you know, take your lead that way. So the last thing I want to do, let's go ahead and just share with you that link that everybody was waiting for. Thank you for your patience. And again, we're well spent over our time. I try not to go over an hour on any Zoom I've ever do. And thank you for being here. If you're one of my guests, please give me a call. Let's talk about how we can partner again, like we've done it before. We were going to do it again. Dr. Ross, that's especially for you. I'm looking forward to talking to you, young lady. Bye-bye.
Great call, guys.
Great call, great energy, great everything. I'm honored to be your host tonight. Enjoy your night. Thank you so much for affording your time.
Great job.